And we are live. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. I'm George Hayes, and I'm the host of this show. Most of the time, it's just me by myself. If you're new here, we do this once a week. Every Friday night, we go over a week's worth of tech articles that I find interesting wait, my phone's going crazy. Sorry about that. We go over some tech articles that I pick out from between last Friday and this Friday. And if there's a big event, I try to showcase that in the articles that I pick out. So nobody has come in as yet. So if you're there, put a comment in and say hello. If you're new here, please put in a comment and let us know where you're from. And please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We simulcast on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Hey, Annette's in here. All right, Annette, you're the first one in tonight. Glad to have you here as always. And so again, if you're new here, I pick out some stories, and I have show notes that I put on my webpage every Friday night to give you guys, show you guys where I'm getting the articles from, and also allow you to click on them yourself and read them yourself if you so choose. So let me share screen and show you my website and where you'll see tonight's show notes. So if you go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com and you just click on today's date, you'll get just the show notes for this week's show. So, as always, when I'm here, I try to give you guys a preview of what we're going to talk about tonight, the articles that I'm going to share with you. So I always start with one that's not the heavy-duty one, or that I consider the heavy-duty one of the week, to try to give people a few moments to get in. So it's usually the second story that I have on the show notes that I consider the heavy-duty story of the week. So a couple of days ago, the App Store had an outage. Didn't last long, but that doesn't happen to Apple very often. So I'm leading with that story. So that's going to be our first story. Now, for me, the absolute biggie of the week, and this isn't really even an article, I just said SpaceX accomplishes the first ever catch of a rocket back from space. Amazing. And I picked, you could watch this video all over the place, but I went to X and I took SpaceX's post, and they posted like a 50-second thing of the rocket coming back. It is amazing to watch. I mean, think about it. No one in history has ever done this before, and it's just amazing to watch. And I put a note in here, watch the video. You'll want to turn on the sound, because since it's SpaceX's Twitter feed, you can hear the employees in the background shouting and celebrating, and boy, do they have a reason to celebrate. This has never been done before. So to me, this was by far the biggest event of the week. And it's, like I said, it doesn't last long. It's not even an article, but I just thought you guys need to see this. If you haven't seen it, it's just amazing to watch. So after that, third story. Google promotes ads in Search Boss. That's the boss right there. We'll get his name as we go into the article. He's been there a long time. He's got a promotion up, and a guy that works for him is now the new boss of Search. So I just thought that's pretty significant. And all I said was, Google promotes ads in Search Boss, bringing a long-time exec to the role. That's the guy that worked for him. And I thought precursor to a breakup, because everybody's talking about a Google breakup, or about the government making them break up. So are they positioning themselves? I don't know, but it's just a thought. And I found that on CNBC. And then Will canceling a subscription, including gym memberships, finally become easy? I found this on Tech Radar, and the Federal Trade Commission came up with a new policy. I think it kicks in 6 months. And if you know anything about subscriptions, and especially gym memberships, they make it as impossible as possible as they possibly can for you to cancel. So I think this is a good government rule. I wish they had made it effective quicker than 6 months, but we'll get to that. That's on Tech Radar. This one is kind of a scary one when you think about it. I just said, let's jailbreak some robots. And I just said, hack and harm. This is a story on Digital Trends where some professors found that they could hack robots and make them do bad things. That's a scary thought. I just thought that was an interesting article. Then I was just praising the FTC for coming after the subscriptions and gym memberships. Well, this is the head of the FTC, Lina Khan. I said, will she remain the head of the FTC under a new president? And it's just an article Gizmodo came up with saying they thought Kamala Harris might keep her, but I'm hoping that whoever wins the election keeps her, because I think she's a terrific head of the FCC. And you'll see in the beginning of the article, she actually does something. That's why a lot of the business people can't stand her. I think she's terrific. Anyway, that'll be on Gizmodo. And on my last one, since Elon's been fighting with different governments all over the world about access to X, and I said the EU could really nail Elon and associated companies, again, on Gizmodo. So they might find him, but they might find him a lot worse than it initially looked like they might. So I just thought, interesting story. So that's all the stories. And let's see, nobody else new has come in. That usually means Brian is doing something busy. And if I know Brian, he'll watch it tomorrow and spread it around too. So at least we've got Annette in here. I don't know who else is in here watching, but we're going to go on to the first story. So, and like I said, like I say every week, I'm never sure if Ted's going to join. I haven't spoken to Ted in over a month. And if by some miracle Will or Mike joins, I'll certainly let you guys know. But if it's just me, we know it's going to be a quicker night. So the App Store outage, glad it didn't last long. And of course, I found this on Tom's Guide. So Apple's App Store was down. Latest updates on outage. It's back. This was 2 days ago. So on Wednesday. So let's drop this into reader view, get rid of some of these ads. And it says, it wasn't just you. The Apple App Store suffered from a significant outage that's prevented users from downloading some of the best apps, updating current apps on their devices, and searching for things within Apple's app ecosystem. Thankfully, the issue appears to have been resolved quickly, which means you can use your favorite App Store again. Now, keep in mind, this was 2 days ago. The outage just started a little after 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and we investigated what happened and looked for answers regarding how long it would be down. It was a big problem, but it lasted only an hour or so, thank goodness, before everything returned to normal. So then they have a timeline, so we'll go over that, and thank God it came back so quick. So 11:53 a.m. Now keep in mind, this is Eastern Time, my time. Complaints piling up, and you can see they shot up right here. Oh, it refreshes itself. I don't know why. They shot up right here. According to Down Detected, there are only 44 comments so far, but over 3,600 reported outages in the last 24 hours. There are complaints about not being able to download new apps. The baseline of the Apple Store is 0, so seeing such a sudden spike clearly indicates something is wrong. So that was at 11:53, and they update this very quickly. So at 11:56, Twitter X users reporting App Store outage. I'm not going to read everything. Just wanted you to see the timeline. And they did a good job of bringing it back. Over on our next, looks like many people are finding that the App Store is down. At 12:03, Apple status site starting to show outages. And you can see right here, Business Essentials and Business Manager was definitely having a problem, and School Manager. And subscription purchase outage. So this the only one that actually says outage. I guess outage is in red. The others are just coming problems, I guess. So, and then at 12:13, that's when they said it might be fixed. This might be a quick outage as down detector reports have plummeted to 456 from over 3,200 just a few minutes ago. That's a very good sign. Apple may have implemented a fix before the company even acknowledged that an outage was happening. So somebody got on it real quick, which is great for users who want to keep their apps updated and running smoothly. Working in anecdotal tests by myself and Tom's Guide Global Editor-in-Chief Mark Spoonhour. So we'll have to keep monitoring to see if any further issues arise or if this was a quick out. And they did. 12:30, everything is resolved. You can see everything is back in green here. And I think, and that was the last update. While Apple never officially acknowledged the App Store outage, the company did list the subscription purchase and volume purchase program as down. However, Apple now categorizes them as available with a note saying resolved outage. So they didn't acknowledge it until they fixed it, mentioning that users may have been unable to sign in. Thankfully, based on internal testing, user posts on social media, down detector reports, and Apple status page, we can somewhat confidently say this outage is over. And they said they'd keep an eye, but so it came and went, in an hour, so that's nice and quick. But I just thought I should report on it. It's such a rare occurrence. So that's our first story. And Ted is in here. You need to come in here and join me. Knowing you're probably out taking some photography stuff or at some function if I know you. But if you can come in and join me, please do. All right, I'm about to go to the big story of the week, or at least what I consider was the big story. And like I said, this is not even an article, but I said SpaceX accomplishes the first ever, I should have put ever in caps, I guess, catch of a rocket back from space. I said amazing. And I said, watch the video. You'll want to turn on the sound because you will hear the employees as you should. And they were really celebrating. So I'm going to show you the main part of the video that just shows it coming back. And it's amazing how softly it just landed and turned the motors off. So you won't hear it, but you'll certainly see it. So this was a post that SpaceX put on their X. So there it is. Watch it come down. This is amazing to me. Should be amazing to everybody. Mankind has never done this before. Look at that thing coming right back where it started. And look how it just fits itself right into this right spot, straightens itself out, and turns itself off. That is truly amazing. This is the camera, I believe, from the top of the tower. But like I say, if you guys go look at this, turn on your sound because hearing the employees cheer just gives you chills. It's just amazing what a great job they did. So, I mean, there's all the employees cheer. Look at that. and they should feel that way. And these guys have accomplished something that's never been done in the history of mankind. That is, look at her. That is awesome. So I just wanted you guys to see that. So hopefully you'll go click on it yourself and take a look at it. And Eleanor's in here. Glad to have you. So we got Annette first. Ted came in and Eleanor's in here. I assume Ted is out somewhere because he's not coming in. But if he joins, I'll certainly let you guys know. So anyway, I just thought what SpaceX accomplished with that, bringing that monster rocket back and landing it so gently was just an amazing feat and needed to be. And everybody is recognizing it, not just me, but it's just a wonderful thing to see. And to see those employees go crazy like that, as they should, it's just an awesome sight. So I was looking at a bunch of different articles that all showed the landing, but I said, well, let's see what SpaceX, his own Twitter feed, shows. And I think it showed it better than anybody else. That's why I picked that one rather than picking an article. So I will continue on. It's going to be a quick night as usual. So I said Google promotes ads and search bots, bringing a longtime exec to the role. And this is just speculation on my part, since everybody's talking about the government breaking up Google. I said, is this a precursor to a breakup? So this was on CNBC. So we'll take a look. Google CEO names new search and ads boss, slides predecessor to role of chief technologist. Now, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking they might have created this chief technologist post just for him, because it's definitely a promotion and he's going to be still reporting directly to Sundar. So I guess he's just a little higher up, and the guy that works for him took over this spot. So, and this was written by Jennifer Elias, and that was on yesterday. So let's drop this into Reader View, get rid of some of these ads. I think I got this guy's name down. So it's Prabhakar Raghavan. Prabhakar Raghavan. That's it, Raghavan. So he's the incoming chief technologist. Now, I had never heard of a chief technologist before, so I'm thinking they may have created that title just for him. So Google is replacing Prabhakar Raghavan, the company's search and ads boss, with longtime Google executive Nick Fox, and he worked for Raghavan. The move was announced by Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai, who said in a blog post on Thursday that Raghavan will be moving into the role of chief technologist after 12 years of leading teams across the search company. So obviously he's done a good job. Raghavan will continue to report to Pichai in the new role. Yeah, new role. So they must have created for him. The company told CNBC in a statement. Prabhakar has decided it's time to make a big leap in his own career. I bet you he got a nice raise. Pichai wrote in the post. In this role, he'll partner closely with me and Google leads to provide technical direction and leadership and grow our culture of tech excellence. So he's way up near the top of the company now, I would think. The move comes as Google continues to restructure its teams to move more quickly in the artificial intelligence arms race, where it faces increased competition. The company is also dealing with, and this is what made me speculate, with several antitrust lawsuits related to its search and ads business. And there are tons of articles about they're going to be broken up. So maybe they are. Fox has long been a member of, that's the guy who took the position. Fox has long been a member of Raghavan's leadership team. He will be leading Google's knowledge and information division, which includes the company's search, ads, and commerce products, Pichai said. Now, keep in mind, search is where Google makes all those billions of dollars from, way above everything else. So these are big-time positions here. A Google employee since 2003, Fox has been vice president of product and design for the company's Assistant product in recent years. And we all know how much we pretty much all love Assistant. I know I do. He previously worked within the company's ads business unit. Over the past few years, Nick has been instrumental in shaping Google's AI product roadmap and collaborating closely with Prabhakar, Pichai wrote. Raghavan has led the knowledge and information unit since 2018, so 6 years, that's pretty good. Earlier this year, he told employees to prepare for a different market reality because things are not like they were 15, 20 years ago, CNBC reported. Additionally, Pichai announced that the team working on Google's Gemini app, which includes Google's AI direct-to-consumer products, will join Google DeepMind under AI head Dennis Demis Hassabis. And remember, last week we just reported to you that two of the guys, both in England from Google DeepMind, won the what was the award? And they're saying hi, and Ted's saying hi. So Ted's still watching out there. Okay. Bringing the teams close together will improve feedback loops, enable fast deployment of our new models and the Gemini app, which I wrote. The move also means the assistant teams focused on devices and home experiences will move to the platforms and devices unit, so they're shifting things around, so they can sit closer to the product services they're building for, Pichai wrote. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I guess they had earlier said that Raghavan was becoming CTO, which was not true. So, yeah, I guess they since they hadn't created this post yet, they thought he was going to be CTO. I just thought it was interesting, and it right away made me think, are they getting ready for a breakup? Who knows? So everybody's moving on up. Of course, my mind wants to say, well, we're moving on up, but I won't go there. Okay. Federal Trade Commission, click to cancel. Will canceling a subscription, including gym membership, that's the one that almost everybody finds impossible, finally become easy? And this story was on Tech Radar. Let's go check it out. And this was from 2 days ago. Canceling your tech subscriptions will finally become less painful thanks to new click to cancel rule. I just wish they had implemented it quicker. Opt out the easy way. That's by Alex Blake. So let's go drop into review. Yeah, I think everybody will benefit from this, assuming it works as it should. And this is why I like the boss of the FTC. And we'll get to the story about her in a little while. As more and more companies switch their apps and services to subscription models, you might have found it increasingly difficult to cancel your subscription and end the payments. Yeah, most people do. Most of us have struggled with a company that makes it near impossible, that's the truth, to stop the charges, but that could soon become a thing of the past, thanks to new consumer-friendly rules that are about to come into effect. In a press release, the FTC has announced that businesses will have to make it as easy for consumers to end the subscription as it is to sign up for one. Wouldn't that be a nice miracle? The new click to cancel rule is designed to address complaints about negative option billing, that is, subscriptions and recurring payments where you must take action to have them canceled. Right now, some companies make it as difficult as possible to end the subscription, especially gym memberships for some reason. Instead of allowing you to end it online, for example, they might make you call a phone number where a sales representative will cajole you with offers and other tactics designed to keep you spending. While signing up for a recurring payment can take seconds, canceling one can take hours or longer. Oh, yeah, there are stories out there of people having to send in a registered letter, all kinds of stuff, anything to stop you from leaving. Once the click to cancel rule, get this, comes into effect in roughly 180 days time, so 6 months, that should all change. The FTC says its new guidelines will prohibit companies from engaging in the following practices: misrepresenting any material fact made while marketing goods or services with a negative option feature, failing to clearly and conspicuously disclose material terms, good, prior to obtaining a customer's billing information. So they've got to tell you about it before they start charging you for it. in connection with a negative option feature. Failing to obtain a consumer's express informed consent to the negative option, yeah, they need to crack down on that and keep an eye on how they do that feature before charging the customer. Failing to provide a simple mechanism to cancel a negative option feature and immediately halt charges. So this is why I think this current FTC boss is the right boss. The FTC says it opted against enacting other rules. These include the requirement for companies to send annual subscription reminders to customers, as well as a ban on firms suggesting reasons for you to keep paying good when you attempt to cancel a subscription if you haven't previously asked to hear about these reasons. Commenting on the news, FTC Chair Lina M. Khan said, "Too often, businesses make people jump through endless hoops just to cancel a subscription. The FTC's rule will end these tricks and traps, saving Americans time and money. Nobody should be stuck paying for a service they no longer want." And she's terrific since she's been there. With subscriptions becoming an increasingly common way for companies to bring in revenue, complaints have been rising at an equally steep rate, with the FTC saying it now receives an average of 70 complaints a day about shady recurring payment practices. Hopefully, the new rules will put a stop to some of the most egregious examples and make it far easier to get more control over your money. So, like I said, it's going to be 6 months before it's implemented, but thank God it's there. So I just thought that's one that we all would like. And let's see anything. Oh, Ted saying, and newspaper subscriptions. Now, I haven't touched a newspaper in many years, but I guess that would kind of make sense. So yeah, this will help everybody, I guess, dealing with any kind of subscription. So pretty terrific, I think. And in 2 more stories, we'll read about the lady who's the head of the FTC. But this story, I just stumbled upon it, and I thought it was really interesting, kind of scary. Most of these AI kind of stories, and they say, well, they're scaring me, and we're all going to die. It doesn't scare me very much. This one, I think, is kind of scary. So ISIS said, let's jailbreak some robots. Hack and harm, I called it. This was on Digital Trends. AI-controlled robots can be jailbroken. That alone is scary. And the results could be disastrous. I can see why. This is from yesterday. And written by Andrew Tarantola. So let's go into review. Researchers at Penn Engineering have reportedly uncovered previously unidentified security vulnerabilities in a number of AI-governed robotic platforms. That's not good. Our work shows that at this moment, large language models are just not safe enough when integrated with the physical world. So once we're exposed to them, in other words. George Pappas, UPS Foundation Professor of Transportation in Electrical and System Engineering, said in a statement. Pappas and his team developed an algorithm dubbed RoboPair, the first algorithm, get this, designed to jailbreak large language model controlled robots. And unlike existing prompt engineering attacks aimed at chatbots, no, this is aimed at a whole robot. RoboPair is built specifically to elicit harmful physical actions. That's the key phrase here. From large language model controlled robots like the bipedal platform Boston Dynamics and Tri are developing. RoboPair reportedly achieved, now get this, 100% success rate in jailbreaking 3 popular robotics research platforms. So they never fail, which is not good. The 4-legged Unitree Go2 the four-wheeled ClearPath Robotics Jackal, and the Dolphins large language model simulator for autonomous vehicles. So they have just successfully jailbroken every single one of these and never missed. It took mere days for the algorithm to fully gain access to those systems and begin bypassing safety guardrails. Once the researchers had taken control, they were able to direct the platforms to take dangerous actions such as driving through road crossings without stopping. That's nice. So they can just force them to drive through stop signs. So that's just an example. I mean, they could have pretty much made them fire some kind of weapon. Our results revealed for the first time that the risks of jailbroken large language models extend far beyond text generation, given the distinct possibility that jailbroken robots could cause physical damage in the real world. Yeah, the researchers wrote. The Penn researchers are working with the platform developers to harden their systems against further intrusion, thank God, but warn that these security issues are systemic. Now, I can tell you, as a former programmer, developer myself, that when you're dealing with something that has a lot of possibilities, finding all the ways to stop somebody from getting into the security can be very, very difficult. And usually you have to sit down and make a very long if this, then that, if this, then that, and that can get into 30, 40, 50 if this, then sometimes, but it's the only way you can find them. So I'm glad they're doing this, and I'm glad they're finding the holes here. The findings of this paper make it abundantly clear that having a safety-first approach is critical to unlocking responsible innovation. Vijay Kumar, a co-author from the University of Pennsylvania, told The Independent, "We must address intrinsic vulnerabilities before deploying AI-enabled robots in the real world." I would say so, yeah, please, before. In fact, AI red teaming, a safety practice that entails testing AI systems for potential threats and vulnerabilities, is essential for safeguarding generative AI systems, I would hope, added Alexander Roby, the paper's first author. Because once you identify the weaknesses, yes, then you can test and even train these systems to avoid them. And this is what I've always had to do, even as a programmer. So it's kind of scary that they're able to jailbreak these things, but I'm glad they're doing it, because you want to find out now before they're out in public. So just a very interesting story, and scary if they don't find all the possibilities. So let's see, and nothing else new in the comments, so we will go on. And now I said, will Lina Khan remain head of the FTC under a new president? Now, keep in mind, she came in when Biden came in, but I think she has been like the best FTC chairman, boss that we've had in a long, long time. So I found this on Gizmodo. So it says Kamala Harris might keep Lina Khan at the FTC after all. So I guess there was some talk of not keeping her. I don't know. If she wins in November, there are indicators that Harris will keep controversial FTC head, a new report claims. And the reason she's controversial is because she does her job so well, and some of the big shot companies don't like that, which you'll see. So this, again, was from yesterday by Lucas Ropek. Let's drop into read review. Like I said, she has been the best head that they've had in years. Lina Khan, the head of the Federal Trade Commission, has proven to be a contentious figure. Arguably, get this, because unlike some of the FTC chairs who came before her, she seems intent on actually doing her job. Absolutely. From day one, this woman has been actively doing her job and doing a great job, as we saw 2 stories ago with the subscription thing. Under her chairmanship, the FTC has aggressively pursued actions, and here's where she gets in trouble, against some of America's largest tech companies, ruffling the feathers of Silicon Valley C-suites. As a result, there are more than a few people who want to see her gone when the next administration, be it Trump or Harris, enters the White House. So you're going to get a lot of pressure from some of these big shot companies, no matter who's in there, to get rid of her. I think she's great for all of us regular consumers. A new report suggests there's a good chance that Harris will keep Khan should she win the presidency. The political outlet Notus writes that one of Harris's top economic advisors, Brian Deese, has advocated for Harris to keep the young federal official in her role. The outlet cites two sources familiar with the campaign. Gizmodo reached out to the Harris campaign for comment. The list of tech executives that have taken shots at Khan is long. Earlier this year, LinkedIn billionaire and Democratic Party donor Reid Hoffman made waves when he publicly suggested should she win the presidency, Harris should fire Khan. Hoffman said that Khan was not helping America, I disagree, and that he hoped that Vice President Harris would replace her. Notably, Hoffman is a major investor in Microsoft, which has been under fire from Khan's agency over its various business deals. That's her job. Hoffman later appeared on Jake Tapper's show on CNN and tried to defend himself against accusations of influence peddling. Gee, what a surprise that is. Other tech companies have also been critical of the regulator. Last summer, lawyers for the company then known as Twitter accused Khan's agency of being biased against the platform and its new owner, Elon Musk, which she might be. Much as I like Elon, she's still doing her job and doing it well, I think. According to Jon Stewart, he was instructed by officials at Apple not to interview Khan during his short-lived Apple TV show, The Problem with Jon Stewart. Amazon once accused Khan of having unfairly made up her mind about Amazon's antitrust culpability. It isn't hard to imagine that other corporate Goliaths who have been the subject of FTC scrutiny, like Meta, for instance, are also presumably not fans of her. So all these guys want somebody in the FTC chair who doesn't do anything, like the last one we had. As FTC head, Khan has initiated a number of aggressive actions against the tech industry's biggest players. Last September, Khan sued Amazon, alleging it had exerted illegal monopoly power over markets that allowed it to inflate prices and reduce product quality. That's her job. That's what she's supposed to be doing. Last year, the FTC under Khan proposed a blanket prohibition on Meta's monetization of youth data. I didn't know about that. In 2022, Khan's FTC sued to disrupt the merger between Microsoft and Blizzard Activision. Yes, she lost that one, though her efforts were ultimately thwarted by a federal judge. And at the same time, in Britain, they approved it. And I think between the two, American and Britain both approving it, that's how the FTC lost that battle. The FTC has also sought to unwind Meta's acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp. I didn't know that. Though that effort predates Khan's tenure with the agency, so before she got there. It has continued under her leadership. Khan has also probed the relationship between OpenAI and Microsoft, and expressed concerns for the growing concentration of power within the AI industry, and has sought to spotlight the vast growth of consumer surveillance via ad tech in the United States. Good, because I don't trust Sam Altman. He's the head of OpenAI. Something about that guy I just don't trust. Anyway, I just hope they keep her, and I just thought it was a good story to have, and it shouldn't matter, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. in the presidency, the woman's doing her job, and she's the first one that looks like she's doing it well in years. So I hope they keep her. All right, one more story left. Nothing else new in the comments. So we're going to be good and early tonight. And this one's back to Elon. So he had his robo-taxi event last week or early this week, and which there's a lot of controversy and a lot of people pro, a lot of people con. But he had his great SpaceX conquest this week, which I already showed you. So now his fight with the EU is ongoing. Now, keep in mind, has given in the fights in Australia. He's had to give in Brazil. It's pretty much all the governments, including our own, they want access to everything anybody posts on X and any place else. And Zuckerberg and the others will give it to him. Elon fights them more than anybody else because he thinks people's privacy should be private. So the EU could really nail Elon and associated companies. And again, this was on Gizmodo. And they're expecting a fight in court about penalizing him in the EU. But this is saying this could be much, much worse monetarily for him than they thought. The EU's fines against Elon Musk may be much larger than anticipated. The European Union is making a decision that may cause any potential fines against Musk to skyrocket. And this, again, was from yesterday by Matthew Gault. So into read review we go. The European Union is considering levying fines against Elon Musk over his unwillingness to cooperate with an investigation into X's moderation and advertising policies. This is the same stuff they went after the Telegram guy over. All these governments want them to knuckle under to them and do what they tell them. And Elon doesn't want to do that, although he's done it some. According to a report from Bloomberg, the EU may consider the revenue of, get this, SpaceX, Neuralink, and the Boring Company as part of Musk's net worth. If they do that, the cost of the fines would skyrocket. So the fines that everybody initially thought was just going to have to do with X, but if they include all of his companies that are not public, that's going to make him pay a heck of a lot more. Unnamed EU officials told Bloomberg about the potential jump in fines. The EU started investigating Musk and X in 2023 after its new Digital Services Act went into effect, and we've reported on that act a lot. In July, an EU commission formally found that X had deceived its users and violated EU law. At issue was X's new policy. Yeah, a lot of people don't like this new policy of selling authenticity to anyone in the form of a blue check mark and refusing to be transparent with regards to advertising. So that part of the story I'm not familiar with. This is Elon speaking. We look forward to a very public battle in court so that the people of Europe can know the truth, Musk said in a post on X in response to the ruling. He said all along that he's going to fight them in court. The fines for Musk alleged trespassers, get this, would be 6% of the site's yearly global revenue. So that would be 6% of X's global revenue. But if they include the other companies, that's going to really skyrocket. The EU is currently deciding that if that 6% should apply to all of Musk's wholly owned companies and not just X. So in other words, the companies where he's totally the boss. Tesla is off the hook because it's a public company that Musk doesn't completely control. Bloomberg source also told them that the fine could be avoided entirely if only Musk would satisfy the watchdog's concerns. And in all these countries' cases, it's always, if you knuckle under to them, you're good to go. And Brazil made him knuckle under after a couple of months. Oh, and that's what we're going to talk about now. The last time Musk had a fight like this, he folded. He went to war with Brazil in August over the country's content moderation policies. Now, get this, a Brazilian Supreme Court, and basically it's one judge who kind of gets everybody else to go along with him. A Brazilian Supreme Court justice wanted Musk to follow the law of the land, and Musk balked. What they're not telling you is the law that they want him to follow, they came up with like a week or two before they told him to follow it. And nobody passed it in any a Senate or anything like that. The judge and his cronies, they just made a new law and it stuck. And that's what Elon was fighting, but he lost. The billionaire, as always, claimed it was a free speech issue. And the big deal was this judge wanted Elon not to publish stuff that the enemies of the current politicians put out on X. And he said they should have the right to do that. Well, he's lost that battle. Brazil said it had some very basic demands, such as asking X to appointment, I think they mean to appoint, a permanent legal representative in Brazil. For a month or so, X was officially unavailable in Brazil. They shut down business for quite a while. Brazil was one of X's largest markets, and it was cash Musk couldn't afford to lose. He paid $44 billion for the site in 2022. Now it's worth around $10 billion. So yeah, because of all the advertisers they've lost. Traditional advertisers have fled, and X is now taking money from anyone who'll pay. I've seen paid advertisements for privacy sites and the medical website touting ivermectin as a replacement for chemotherapy. That's kind of weird, I think. Musk caved and gave Brazil what it wanted, and the app returned. So now they're, it's back in regular business in Brazil. Yeah, I don't, Musk, I give Musk credit for trying to stand it up to these guys, but it's almost inevitably that, the countries are going to win. Musk has also repeatedly capitulated to demands to censor X from countries with more authoritarian demands, such as Turkey and India. And he also lost a fight in Australia. And in September, he coordinated with the Trump campaign to censor an internal campaign report on J.D. Vance. I don't think that's good. X also banned Ken Klipperstein, the journalist who shared the report, but later reinstated his account. So he may end up paying a whole lot more than he's if he loses in court, but he's going to fight it. But it's hard to beat. The old saying is hard to beat City Hall. Well, it's hard to beat a whole country too, and he's losing that battle in country after country. So just interesting, I thought. So that's all I've got for tonight, folks. Let me stop screen here. I hope you enjoyed the stories, and like I said, if you have a chance at all, take a look at that post on X of the rocket coming back. That it's just an amazing thing to see. So hopefully I'll see you guys next week. Maybe we'll actually get Ted to come in here. We never know. So thanks to everybody who came in. Thanks, Annette, Eleanor. Thanks to Ted, and thanks, Ted, for at least interacting with us. And hope you guys have a beautiful and wonderful weekend. And I'll see you next weekend. Let's remember we all do better when we love each other.